Hi everyone. Well, this time let's take a look at a simple example. Let's say we have this problem. Ask the user for two numbers and add them. Show the sum to the user. So what should we do first after we get this problem? First, let's we have to understand what the problem is. So we have to know uh, if the program needs some needs any input from the user, if the program should produce an output, and what is the process involved. So we have to think about, oops, what are the steps I have to do to solve this problem. So that's uh, how we should think about this, or how we should think about solving this problem. First, input, output, and the process or the steps involved. And then we start to think about, or to write our algorithm, to design our algorithm, because our algorithm is a solution and that will be the basis of our code. So let's say, well, I tried to solve it a while ago, and say we have this algorithm. Create an integer variable for x, create an integer variable for y. Step 3, create an integer variable for sum. Step 4 is ask the user x, that is the message, and put answer in x. Step 5, ask the user y and put answer in y. And 6 is put x plus y in sum. The last step is tell user answer is sum. So we have this algorithm already. So there are steps that we have to execute, or the program has to execute, and then um, we want to we are now ready to translate this into code, following the syntax and semantics of Python. So let's go to Spider. I copy paste. So here I have the algorithm. I pasted it here, and let's say when we are here, the first thing we have to do is put the algorithm here, or the steps, comment it out. So we have our comments, and then for every line in the algorithm, or for every step, let's try to um, do, or to translate each line to code. So here, the first line in the algorithm says, create an integer variable for x. Then second line, create an interval for y, and third for sum. In Python, there is really we don't have to write a code that, to actually create a variable without putting an initial value to it. So when you introduce a variable or when you create a variable in Python, you automatically assign a value to it. So here at this point, we can actually start on line 4, because we can start here, ask the user x, because this would be actually, they come together, this. And this ask the user for y, in Python, they go together also. Okay, so there you are. We can put this together as input, and then how are we going to ask for input. So it's the variable x equal sign input, and then what is the message? It's x colon. Okay, and then so this code corresponds or is equivalent to this two steps in the algorithm. So here you write y, we create a variable y, and the value will come from the user again, there, and then comment this out. So you can see we have the algorithm, and for every line we try to create the corresponding line of code for a step or for maybe 2 steps, because it's just equivalent to 1 line of code in Python. So here, create an integer variable for sum. Again, these two will go together. Therefore, sum gets, how do we get the sum? We add x and the plus sign y. So this, let's comment this out, meaning, oops, let's comment this out, means we have code for that already. And then tell user answer is sum. How do we, so it's an output to the user. If it's an output, we use print. What do we want to print? Answer is space plus sum, or maybe space comma sum, whichever, but we can do this one. All right, and then let's not forget to put hash symbol there. All right, so here we have our code to solve the problem, and then let's run this. So you can see in the console x, and it's waiting. The program is waiting for the input to user a value. So let's say let's put 5, enter, and then the program is again waiting for the answer. It's 7. So 5 and 7. What do you think should be the output? So it's 5 plus 7. The output should be 12, because we are looking for, we want the program to add these two numbers. But here the answer is 57. How come? We didn't encounter any syntactic error. So how come the answer is 57? If you notice, 5, it's just 5, 7. It concatenated these two input. So let's go back to our code. And yes, it is wrong. And in programming, you will encounter a lot of wrong programs. You will fail a lot of times. So the important thing is to have the attitude on how to overcome those failures. We will have a lot of syntax errors and these types of errors, and then some problems or some errors would be very difficult to debug, but then we really need to have the patience, and that one you will also learn. I mean, you will develop that one. So the patience to look into your code, to try to find the bug and then fix it. So it's very important. It's it's like an attitude that you need in programming. You have to be patient, and you have to embrace failure. It doesn't mean that it's okay to fail and have five all the time, but then um, we need to have that attitude that if we see this type of mistakes or errors, all we need to do is just look for it, look for the problem, look for the bug, and fix it. So it's just that. So um, do not be disheartened, or do not be so sad, because eventually you will learn how to develop that skill and that attitude. So here, the problem is because, oh yeah, because input, this one gives us a string. Okay, so we have to cast it. And a way to do it is, after this, we put x gets. We want to, not this one, I'm sorry. Here, okay. So here, we want x to be an integer. So it's int, we cast it there. And here, int, oops, mistake. There. Now x and y are integers instead of strings, and when we add two integers, the answer is integer. So automatically, sum gets integer. So if we run this one, let's put 5, 7, oops, error here. Why did we get an error? So it's an error again, so that's okay. Okay, do not lose your temper. Okay, so it's because if we use plus, the operands should be string. So we either use comma, or we convert, or we cast sum to string. Now we run it, try to put 5 and 7 again, and there you go. Now our program is correct. It's running well. Okay, and how should we test it? Try to input negative value, -5, and again 0, and so on. Try a lot of combinations. Okay, so another thing, here we see that sum has a different color. So this may mean that sum has special meaning within Python. So if we see something like this, it's better to change the variable name. Let's say change it to answer, see the difference, and then here we can change this to answer instead of sum. Let's run this again. We input 5, 7, there you go. Okay? All right, I hope you learned a lot today, and try some more exercises, and that's all for today. Have a nice day.